really just wanted to do that.
You guys kiss on the cheeks here. Norman will be here soon. He's powdering his nose. He'll be ready.
I want to.
How's your expo going?
My what?
How's your fan expo going?
It's great. I love Viva la Canada, man. Meeting very cool people. Does this work? Does it work when I hold it down here?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's up, everybody? What are y'all doing? Nice.
I want to start off by asking you if you can take us back to the moment when you got the pilot script for The Walking Dead, because I understand that you put some bold words out there to your representatives about how badly you wanted to be a part of this.
Yeah, no, I read it, and it was like the best pilot I'd ever read, and I feel like there's a lot of echo with this thing. I feel like I'm like some political convention. Anyway, yeah, no, it was a great script. I wrote to my agents that I would do anything to be an extra in this show. I think I knew right from the jump. I'd never read anything that paid so much attention to detailed character and of atmosphere, and Frank Darabont's a ridiculously talented writer, and I wanted to be in it bad, and I actually had 2 other jobs that I turned down because I hadn't gotten to audition for The Walking Dead yet, and that is advice that I would never give any actor to do at any time, but I did, and I'm really glad I did because it was a fun job.
Are you guys glad you did?
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So as I said, we will be taking audience questions. There should be a mic running around at some point. That's going to come in a second. I want to ask you though, Jon, what was your first impression of the character of Shane? Because you said you wanted to be involved with The Walking Dead. So when did Shane rear his head as the character you were going to play, and what did you think of him?
You know, at first, they were seeing people for both Rick and Shane, so you had to audition for both of them. And strangely enough, he cast Shane first, and I really dug the character. I dug that he started out in a police car sharing a burger with his best friend, and they were sharing a pile of ketchup, and he was there, just totally there for his friend, being the most sort of loyal and open guy possible, just trying to get his friend to communicate. And I thought, how cool to start this character there and have him end up this sort of raging sociopath from the book. And I love that it was all rooted in loyalty and in love, because it's the groundwork for a really, I sound like such a pretentious douche, but it's like it sets the groundwork for a really, really cool character to start there and end up where I knew he was going to have to end up from the comic, you know?
So you read at one point for Rick as well.
Yeah, I did, man. Yeah, and but once I read that opening monologue about women and lights and stuff like that for Shane, I was like, oh, that's the part. That is so cool. And then it was so cool because then I got to read with all the different guys auditioning for Rick, and I got to sort of see them all. And when Andy Lincoln came in, it was just like, boom, that's the guy, and that was really cool.
Well,
I got to ask you, we won't tell anybody, sorry, but how do you think Andrew Lincoln would have done as Shane? Would he have been any good?
He's all British and shit, man. Nah, he would have. I'm gonna tell you, I don't think there's anything that guy can't do. You know, he's not only. I mean, everybody on The Walking Dead. No, he's not only a wonderful actor, but he's a great man, great father, great husband, and he's, you know, I love him, as I do all the people on that show. As I love that freaking Norman Reedus, where the freak you are, man. Get your ass over here, man.
Well, I think I can speak on behalf of this entire room. You were the perfect person to play Shane.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Question here.
Yeah, so there's Michelle. There she is. So raise your hand if you're near, and we'll get a microphone to you. And hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Where are you at, man? Oh, there you go.
Hey, man. Okay, we all know how the show ended on this season. What's going to happen with you? Does Shane have a brother Dwayne or anything?
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, right. Yeah, right to the writers. Look, you know, I don't know. I don't think he has a brother Dwayne, man, or Wayne for that matter. You know, look, you know, I went on to do Frank Darabont, the guy who started Walking Dead, I went on to go do his new series, LA Noire, and we shot the pilot of that, and right now I'm in New York. I'm shooting, actually, lucky enough, I'm shooting the new Martin Scorsese movie, like, as we speak. That's why I got this goofy beard. And so I'll shoot this until January, and then we'll go back to LA Noire. So I think I'm, you know, I don't know how much carryover those two shows are really gonna have, man. But I'd love to go back. I love that show and the people that make it with all my heart, man.
Did you know right from the get-go that Shane's days would be numbered?
Yeah, like they said in the beginning, you know, Shane's not gonna make it for too long, and there's nothing like, you know, I fought like hell to get to audition for this part, and I read the script, I want to be in it so bad, and I met this great cast, and I met Frank Darabont, and I was like, oh, I want this so bad. It was so great, and they're like, oh, by the way, it's based on this comic, check it out. And like, I sit down, I open, I'm like, holy guacamole, that motherfucker is dead, like dead fast. Shit. And so, I mean, I was so, you know, I was really happy and excited that they let me last as long as they did, because I didn't know whether I was going to make it. Oh, my phone's ringing. I bet this is Norman. Oh, no, it's my lady. Shit.
Go ahead and take it.
All right. I love you, baby. I'm going to call you back. That's everybody. Hey, baby, fly safe.
When you saw that Shane died in the comics, were your words literally "holy guacamole"?
You know, I don't. There's kids in the audience, so I try. I don't know what, but yeah, you know, I mean, as you do, you take a magazine, or in this instance, a comic book, into the bathroom when you do your thing, and I think it only lasted one trip to the bathroom, and he was gone. I'm like, so much for this source material. But yeah, it was a bummer, and it made me, you know, like, I think one of the cool things about Walking Dead, one of the very many cool things about being on that show and being part of that cast and that crew, is everyone who's down there realizes how lucky they are to be there. It's an incredibly game group of people. It's not your typical Hollywood. There's no BS there. There's nobody who puts on airs. Everybody loves the show, believes in the show, believes in the story, and we all know how lucky we are that we've got you guys behind us, because it's a show we all believe in, and the fact that there's an audience, it lets those guys still do the show, and you know, I think that it's a hard thing when you love something that much and you know you're going to have to leave it. But, you know, lucky for me, I knew from the beginning that my days were very much numbered, and I'm really grateful that they didn't just let Shane be that kind of one-dimensional sort of crazy ass from the comic, and they let it be grounded in something that he was trying to do the right thing all the time. That's all I wanted for this character, is I wanted him to be real. I didn't want him to be like a villain, you know, and I hope that resonated, and I hope he ends up being a figure that tortures, you know, Rick and the Grimes family for many years to come.
Well, you went in tour de force, man. It was awesome. Another question from the audience. If you just put up your hand, I think there's one right toward the front here. Michelle, right there. Yeah.
Hi. In season 3, when you guys were gonna let the teenager go, there was a zombie in the field. I never really got that.
Yeah, the zombie in the field. You know, I don't know. I didn't get that either. But I think that a lot of what that is you know, the way I looked at it. And I don't want to sound like a total nerd here, but hey, you know, I think that one of the yeah, fair enough, bro. I think that, you know, one of the main things for Shane, and one of the main sort of themes of the show is loneliness, and I think Shane especially. All these characters suffer from a certain element, a certain degree of loneliness. I think Shane suffers from this very very specific kind of loneliness, and that's, you know, there's loneliness when you're far away from the people you love or you've lost the people you love. But with Shane, he's right there with the people who he loves more than anyone else in the world. He just can't be with them the way that he wants to be with them, and that's a biting loneliness. That's that kind of loneliness you feel in 7th grade when you're in love with Mary Palmer and she's sitting 3 desks away. You see, I really felt this shit, you know what I mean? And like, you know, but she'll never love you the way you love her, but like magnify that by 1,000,000, and that's kind of what Shane's going through. And I think there's always this idea through season 2 that, you know, he should just pick up and run. He should pick up and walk off. One, because I think he wants to show the people in the group how valuable he is to them. Oh, what would you do without me? But 2, I think a big part of him knows. I think he feels so much shame for what he's done and that he slept with Rick's wife. And I feel like he feels he's turning into a cancer for the group. And there's this recurring thing of, I'm just going to run off. I'm just going to go off on my own. And to see this lone zombie in the field, I think for Shane, because it's really Shane who sees the zombie, he's just like, wow, what a horrible way to go out. You know, I mean, what a horrible road to hoe. And look how far gone the world is. That there's this. And I think mostly, I think it was just a really cool shot, and they wanted to put it in.
You mentioned Mary Palmer from school. Was that her on the phone?
No, hells no, man. No, that was not Mary Palmer, no.
Let's talk for a second about that final scene, if you don't mind, Jon. Is it true that you were so focused on the pre-zombie part that you maybe forgot to prep a little bit for the actual zombie part?
Yes, that is entirely true. Yeah, I do not know how to. I am quite a preparation freak, and I did not. I totally forgot that I had to play a zombie, and I was like, well, how do you do that? And because the zombies go to zombie school, and they do. No, I mean they really do. They do like zombie physicality, and they know how they were bit and all this shit or whatever. And
guacamole.
Yeah, and I don't know. I never went through that, and so I said to him, like, how do you, like, I haven't played a monster since I was a little kid. You know, I was like, Rick, you know, I didn't know how to. But anyway, I hope it worked out.
Did Greg Nicotero, the amazing effects makeup
That's
master,
my man,
did he teach you how to be a zombie?
There was no time. That was the point. They were just like, okay, so now you got to be a zombie. I'm like, I have to be a zombie? And they're like, yeah. They're like, you're going to shoot me playing a zombie? They're like, yeah, you got to do it. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. Yeah, there was no time to really talk about it. Yeah.
Another question?
Do you and Dale still go at each other's throats?
Say it again.
Do you and Dale still go at each other's throats?
Well, you know, Jeff is, he's over on the new show. He's over on LA Noir with me. And, yeah, it's pretty cool. He followed Frank, you know, and so that guy is such a, man, I love that man. And he's so damn good and such a great guy to learn from and have around. And, yeah, I think we'll probably end up going at each other's throats in this new show, too, which would be pretty cool, man. Yeah.
I have to ask, going forward in this next season, how do you think that Rick is going to change as a result of Shane no longer being there? Because, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm alone on this, but to me, a lot of times, until the last couple of episodes, Rick sometimes was just sort of inefficient about making decisions. And you were really, you know, I felt like had a fierceness.
Yeah, I think that's the deal. I mean, I think that's the deal, and I think what you'll see, I think Andy Lincoln had the courage and the patience and the temperance as an actor to play that, because I think what all, you know, actors want to do is they want to be flashy and they want to be showy and they want to go for it. He eased off the throttle and sort of played, you know, not knowing what the right thing to do and to be sort of caught in the middle. And I think you saw in the last episode, which is so cool, because when they kill you off The Walking Dead, they kill your ass off. They're like, pack up your shit and get out. And so I never even read the last episode. I had no idea what was going to happen. I was so excited when I was home. I was like, oh, I get to watch this like a fan. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen. And it was pretty rad. And you know, I saw the episode and I saw the changes that were going on in Andy. And you know, he cares about this, as we all do. He cares about the job so much. And I think he's going to let Shane and the loss that he suffered, it's going to start affecting him. I think he's going to become... It was weird because I saw a lot of Shane in Rick in that last episode. I saw the way he was making decisions, and he was like, cut that out, like it's got to be this way. It's, you know, it's a Rick-tatorship, you know, and you know, I'm really excited to see where he goes. I mean, I say the same about Norman and Sarah Wayne Callies. I mean, they're some of the most exciting actors, I think, working today. And I'm not just saying that because they're my friends. It's just, I loved watching them work, being with them, and now I can't wait to watch them work in my living room, you know?
Another question from the floor?
Well, now that you're looking at the series like a fan, what do you think now of the new premise that now they don't have to be bitten by the zombies to be turned into zombies? How do you think that's going to affect the new season?
Man, I don't know. I'm so glad that's not my problem. You know, like, you know, oh shit. I don't know. You know, like it's a crazy thing, and I think it's gonna be one of the main challenges, I think, for the writers to track that. You know, and you know, I think it's a pretty dark, twisted idea that the disease is in all of us, and I think that we were hinting at it, you know, along the way, and I think I would imagine this next season it's going to really come out that you know we're already, you know, we are the Walking Dead, and that's just right from the comic, you know. Does that answer your question, dude? I don't know. I tried. Sorry. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hello.
Hi.
What does your shirt say?
Oh, this is my zombie killing shirt.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. Huge fan. Thank you so much for all the work you did on the 2 seasons that you were on. Second season, I believe that there was a flashback with you and Laurie on the highway. Was that second season?
Yeah.
So
There's 2 flashbacks.
Yeah, you're right. You and Laurie. So I'm just saying, like, is there a possibility? Because like flashbacks can happen when you're dead.
Yeah, you know, like, you know, I'm doing this new show, you know, so it's gonna be, you know, people from different networks would have to agree to that, you know, and that doesn't happen too much, you know what I mean? So I hope so. I would love that, you know. I would love that, you know. Oh shit. I don't even know how to do it. You sound like my goddamn father. Like that.
I want to ask you about zombies. You touched on this, but as part of the brilliance of Robert Kirkman's source material, that you do realize that The Walking Dead is actually a reference to the people and not the zombies. But in terms of zombies, as a storytelling vehicle, why do you think we're infinitely fascinated with them?
Why do we dig zombies?
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, you know, look, I think that we dig, you know, again, not to be a total pretentious, like douchey film nerd, but like I think that, you know, the zombie apocalypse has always been a metaphor for, you know, whatever sort of cataclysmic apocalyptic thing is ailing us at the time, whether it was racial injustice or a nuclear holocaust or the environmental disaster, whatever that is. And I think, you know, what's really kind of rad about it is that we're always just a couple steps away from one of these terrible catastrophes. I know that's like super dark, but it's really the case. And so I think that, you know, unlike other kind of monsters or sci-fi things, I think zombies are slow-moving, they're all-encompassing, and they're only really dangerous when you're in way too deep and they're all around you, just like sort of one of these big major kind of catastrophes would be. And so I think what it does is it kind of like pulls off the veneer of everyday life and says, you know, screw your phones and screw your, you know, the relationships and your jobs and your stresses, and like, what if it was just about survival? What if it was just about protecting the people you love? And I think that's an inherent thing that, you know, God, this is ridiculously pretentious, but like, I just think that, like, you know, as human beings, we all really wonder about that. And I think the thing that I love hearing from fans of The Walking Dead is, you know, they say, like, wow, I really feel like in an apocalypse I would be more like you, or I would be more like...
Excuse me. I have a question.
That's Norman.
I heard this crazy rumor that it was Daryl's baby.
You're such an asshole, dude. Where have you been? Where are you? Where are you, man?
I mean, Daryl's the one that's getting all the action, you know?
It's Daryl. They're doing a spin-off, the Daryl and Dale story.
Norman Reedus, everybody!
How do you get up there? Do you hear? I'm gonna smoke a cigarette behind this thing.
So that was pretty cool. Norman Reedus!
We just double kissed. Right? What's up with that?
We do that in Canada.
Thanks for coming out.
Hey, yeah, no, we were doing the photo line. And
Dude, is that my sweatshirt? This is my fucking sweatshirt. Does it say Rampart on it?
I don't think so.
Dude, I love.
That's Digger's
This is
sweatshirt.
my sweatshirt. That's just like that. He stole it in Georgia.
Might as well.
He stole it in Georgia. It looks good on him.
But check this out. Look at this. This is my favorite one.
Larry David.
Larry fucking David.
Do we want to jump right in with this lovely lady?
Yeah, sure. I can just say this for both of you.
Did you get a bit closer to them like
You
that?
both played very manly men.
You both are very manly men.
And you showed an amazing range of emotions throughout, even for you until the bitter end, Jon. Like at the last minutes of life, like you were still showing how much you cared about everyone. And I wondered if from either one of you, yes, you're too cute.
Manly men.
You're too cute. You notice I didn't mention Rick there. Did you draw on any personal experiences to help you with that, or?
With the end bit, with the
No, with being able to carry off the depth of character.
yeah, I mean, I think we all, have to go from, draw from personal experiences for sure, and I for me, some of the people I care about most in the world are my best friends that I've known my whole life, and I think that a big part of Shane is how much he loves this man and loves that family, and I think I think for Shane, he just needed to always come from that, never trying to be a villain, never trying to be a bad guy, but loving a friend and loving my friend's family is something I can tap into pretty easily. Thank you.
I want to ask you, Norman. Where do you feel like your character's head is at? Where's Daryl's head at the end of season 2?
Where's your head at?
Where's your head at?
He and Rick actually, after all this has gone down, have become pretty tight. He and Carl have become really tight. Melissa, the Carol's character, real tight. I think you imagine growing up with a big brother like Merle, you're constantly like put down all the time and put in your place, and I think now that sort of world is gone for him, he's kind of being appreciated for the first time by other people, and I think it's making him want to fight, and keep these people alive and, be part of this group, and I think it's a big, am I echoing? Yeah, it's crazy. Boom! That's awesome. Wow. That's so cool. I feel like I'm on drugs or but yeah, he's happy with this new group of people who, his brother's coming back and he'll be pissed and it'll be weird.
The return of Merle. He's coming back.
Yeah, that redneck brother of mine will be back soon.
How do you think Daryl's going to feel about that? Because Daryl has changed a lot. Presumably, Merle has not changed. So is that setting up for a huge conflict?
Well, he always wants to be with his, big brother. I think it's kind of like taking your drunk uncle to a Christmas party. Like, shut up, So, I think he wants everyone just to get along, you know.
More from the floor.
Yes, over there. Superman.
Howdy. So I'm currently studying acting here in Toronto right now, and we've been learning a lot of acting technique and stuff, so like link ladder progression and stuff with physical tension and moment before and all that stuff. Do you guys use that stuff when you go into your acting, like when you study up on your script and stuff?
I didn't hear a word of that, bro.
Acting technique, like link ladder progression and tension.
I don't know anything about acting technique whatsoever. I really don't know shit. You know how I started being an actor? Is I got drunk at a party and started yelling at everyone. That's how I started.
Sounds like a good way to do it.
And I've been such an insecure dude my whole life that I've just been fucking staring and glaring at everybody my whole childhood, and somehow that's turned into an acting career. I don't know how that works.
Thank you.
Hi, so earlier Jon was that he read the source material and he got to like the part where Shane dies and he's just like, holy guacamole! So he kind of knew his character arc beforehand. But Norman, your character's not in the graphic novel, so how was it for you not having any source material and not knowing anything about where your character could possibly be going?
Frank thought the character up, and he and I actually never spoke about him. We never had a conversation about Daryl, and I don't know if he just liked what I was doing or he had plans to have me fall off a building. Like, you know, I didn't know. But you know what? I kind of like it in the way that I'm kind of free to do. Wow, what is this? Wow, that's fun. Sorry. Source material. Yeah, I like it. You know, I can sleep with whoever I want. I can do whatever I want. So, I don't know. It's good and bad. You know, I guess.
Well, you dealt with and always deal with some very serious material on the show. What's the set of The Walking Dead like? Is it a fun place in order to counterbalance those incredibly serious scenes? Feel free to drum your answer.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun. And it's fun and like, you know, like I said before, everybody, we really dig it. I mean, everybody works really hard, you know, but we're running around the woods killing zombies, man. You know what I mean? It's very fun, and we care about it, so.
You both have had some extremely physically challenging and emotionally challenging scenes. Are there ones is one harder than the other?
One hurts more. One is more of a bummer, and one just hurts more. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, the cool thing about this show too is it's both at once a lot. You know, it's a lot of like really heavy physical stuff, but like you're really going through it too. You know, and on a lot of jobs it's sort of one or the other. You know.
Well, for your role in the Pacific, you actually did Marine boot camp, right? So is this comparable to that?
It's so funny because I'm still friends with all those Marines that took us through it, and God bless them, and all those actors that were in the Pacific. The Walking Dead is so much more of a badass show, and I know I'll get you but the shit that we do on Walking Dead is like so much more badass. Yeah, than I mean you can't even compare it because we just do it. I mean the first time I met Norman, and I've said it.
He beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, we just had to fight, and like I just met him, and it was that it's that when he freaking threw the squirrels at Rick. Like that was how I met him. It's like I'm gonna throw squirrels at him, and then we're like, yeah. I was like, do you mind if I just grab you and we just kind of fight? And he's like, nah, dude, just grab you and let's just fight. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, I mean, there's no like stunt guys, you know. We don't really do that on this show.
Is it easier to beat the crap out of somebody when you don't really know them yet?
I don't know, I lost that fight.
I don't know, yeah, I mean, whatever. it's just cool to. Is she allowed that, Jessica? It's just cool to work with people who are game, you know, and everyone there is.
I have liquid stitches in my forehead right now. You know.
Stitches in your.
Oh, ooh. Yeah. It's where they don't stitch you, but they put liquid stitches.
He does. I can see it right now. Yeah, shit, dude, you do. You sent me that picture the other night.
Yeah, of it open. No, yeah.
Hey, so a lot of season 2 was spent with the Sophia arc, and both your characters have very different perspectives on it. And I'm wondering if the writers let you know what was going to happen, or if you got the script at the end of the halfway point and were just very, very surprised.
Did you know that the first part? It was about Sophia.
You asked if we knew about what was going to happen to Sophia?
Yeah, you both went through very different both different points of view on the thing as your characters, and I'm just wondering if you knew the outcome from the beginning, or if it was a big surprise to you.
I knew a little ahead of time. Yeah. And I hated it because Madison, she and I are real good friends. I like her a lot, and it sucks, you know, it sucks. But I was bummed out for real. Yeah, she and I had all this weird stuff that we did, like how little kids will pick on other little kids if they like them. So I just sort of started doing that with her, like giving her dirty looks and revving my motorcycle in her face and stuff like that. And she would just stick her tongue out at me, like, you know. So we had this sort of weird child-like thing going back and forth, which is funny, and very just ridiculous too at the same time. But yeah, I knew it. I was bummed out. Yeah. Did I answer that at all?
Can I give you a present?
Let's cheer her on as she comes up.
It's a squirrel button. You're awesome. Thank you.
So, Shane had a number of spicy scenes over the course of the seasons, and you know, slightly sexy. I'm just wondering, is Daryl going to be seeing any sort of romantic?
And Shane and Daryl get it on too. I don't know. They don't tell me that because that would make me have a panic attack, probably. I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea. I've been telling them if I do go there, I want to go real awkward, like premature, don't know what I'm doing, no game at all. You know what I mean? So it'll probably turn into a comedy if that happens.
Love it. On the floor, I think, right here. Yep. Hello.
On this one.
I just wanted to know, actually, for both of you, what was your favorite zombie kill? Yeah.
I like the in the first season, 2 acts to the head, because the editors liked that one, so they gave me a little bonus of having the head fly off. That's it.
I don't know. Probably like that same thing when he was running out. My boss, or my old boss, Gail, and her daughter was come in and visit just for the day before she started college, and I got to smoke her in the head. That was kind of cool. Yeah, Lolita. Yeah, was cool.
Hi. Huge fan. I was wondering, out of all of the zombies on the show, did any of them actually scare you?
Nah. I mean, I just, I don't like zombies, and yeah, I just don't like them, and I don't like when they come up to me and stuff. Like, I like the people that play them, they're badasses, but I don't really like zombies, So they don't scare me, they make me mad.
The way Greg does them, Greg Nicotero makes those zombies, it makes them like sick, dying, lost people behind the monster. So they don't really scare you, but you're kind of like, damn. You poor bastard.
Were you guys as actors just overwhelmingly impressed by the work of Greg Nicotero and his effects team? Yeah.
Whole nother level. That guy.
Another question from the
Hi, over here. You guys are great. Love what you do. You guys are so good at what you do on the show. I was wondering if you had any advice for an aspiring young actor.
It was get drunk at a party.
People ask me this question, and I think you have to go where the work is. Start there. I think. They call it Hollywood for a reason. I don't live there. I did. I put my time in there, but what bug? Oh, there. That was awesome. Did you see that? I banged it on my chin.
Technique.
I don't know. Stick with it, man. Just. I guess it's like there's Lordy. There's maybe it's both floors together. I think this corny as shit. I know he's gonna make fun of me about it later, but I don't really care. But I kind of care. But like this. I think there's gotta be there's highs and lows, like really big highs and lows, and you gotta dig that. You gotta accept that and dig that.
So we know how Shane and Daryl would fare in a zombie apocalypse, but how would Jon and Norman fare in a zombie apocalypse? Tell me about how you'd handle it and how long you'd last.
I mean, we've lost him to a microphone, bro. Dude, no, not one.
I'd be dead.
Yeah, he'd be like playing with sticks in the corner.
How would you do, though, Jon? You're a big guy physically.
Nah, man. I don't want to be in a zombie apocalypse.
Another question from the floor?
Hi, guys. You guys have both commented that you've read the comics, so I'm sure you've read the progression of Carl's character. Chandler Riggs, some of us, I'm sure a few of us have had a chance to meet him when he was here last year. He's a great little kid. What do you guys think about his acting quality going forward?
Sorry. Honestly, season 3, some of the best acting's coming out of that kid. He's killing it this season. And something in him changed, but he's always been very serious and always a really good actor, but he went somewhere else this season. He's great. And hands down, he's one of my favorite characters right now. He's great. Was that the question? Cool.
Okay, Michelle is over here at the back.
Hi. Jon, I really think Shane's character, you're absolutely right. You did get across the fact that he was more right than wrong. He just went a little extreme, but survival instincts. But the question I really wanted to ask was, Norman, how did you get off that big-ass ravine when they're filming that, where you're wounded and you're trying to get up there and you're seeing your brother edging you on?
That day is funny. Rooker's fun to work with in the fact that he's always adding stuff, but he couldn't remember his lines that day, and I was hanging literally off of a tree branch with dirt that was straight up and down, and scorpions are walking by my face. And he was like, yeah, Darlene, I put on the thing and the boom. What's my line? What's my line? Yeah, that's what I'm at, Merle, and that's Darlene, the thing and the dress. And I'm like, dude, say your lines, man. There's scorpions by my head right now. You know, he's a force of nature and he's an awesome actor, but that guy, he just free flows, like, you know. You know, I mean, it was fun, that episode, you know. And then they sent me to a taxidermist to learn how to cut open animals, so it looks like I know what I'm doing. I cut the squirrel open, and I told that director that day, you know, when I was picking out it was chicken in the squirrel carcass that I was eating, and I'm like, can I get more fur on this? And, you know, and he's like, why? And I go, because I want to make like 20 million people all sort of throw up in their mouth at the same time. It was a fun day.
Hi guys, big fan. Okay, I got a question for Norman. Who would win in a fight, Murphy McManus of the Boondock Saints or Dale Dixon of Walking Dead?
You know, I think they probably both hit each other a couple times and then end up like at a bar getting drunk, like best friends. I can't even see those two fighting at all. They'd just be like, fuck you, like you and me shots now. Let's go. I think they'd hit it off pretty well.
Murphy versus Shane.
Shane. Murphy versus Bugs Bunny. Yeah, because I'd have to do it, and then I'd lose, for sure.
Hey, Wonder Woman.
Okay, this might be putting you on the spot a little bit, but can you do impressions of each other's character?
Yeah, I'm Shane and I'm sexy. The girls like me and I'll beat your head off. And here's a shotgun, I'm gonna stick it up the butt and I'll kill you and fuck you. This will be better, right? Mom! Well, how'd you do it? You done killed my brother! You left him up on that roof, my brother! Mom! That doesn't even fucking sound like you. I love the way he did that, though, man. He's my favorite, man.
Hi guys. In the zombie apocalypse, what is the one thing you would miss the most?
South Park.
That works.
Sam?
Yeah, sure. South Park.
Hi, huge fans of both of you and the show. Sorry. I was just wondering, how do you think that Daryl's going to change as a character, because he has changed without the influence of his brother around? I just rewatched season 1, and he's pretty racist.
Who is?
Your brother.
Right.
Merle. And I was just wondering how he's going to change as a character with that influence of his older brother around, now that he's developed these strong relationships with the group that he's with.
Well, I fought early on, you know, to be more of an Al-Anon member and less of an Alcoholics Anonymous member. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up with racism and big bags of drugs and all this stuff, and I hated it. That's how I wanted the character to be. You know, and there was actually a scene that was written that I'd take Merle's stash of drugs and start taking them, and Lori comes to me and I'm like, nah, well, get pills, drugs, you know, and like, F you, drugs. And I put my foot down, and I really didn't want to do it. I was like, no, that's what my brother did. That's why I hate it. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think the changes with Daryl aren't going to be, you know, anything like that. Or I think they're more like people like me. Like I can hang out here. You know, that guy's relying on me. You know, and I think that's the thing that makes him feel good about being with these people. Like, it's brothers and families and sisters that he never had. And, you know, it's good in TV that, like, in a movie you go from here to here, but in television, sometimes you can, like, drop these little seeds and they turn into little trees and turn into little storylines. So, you know, like when Carol leans down and kisses me on the forehead, I went like this, right? And now I'm an abused kid. You know what I'm saying? So people picked up on that and they helped write these things. So back when we did that, you'll notice there's like a bunch of scars on me. It's a storyline now. So I think it's more of a family type of situation. That makes any sense.
Norman, you've been a total badass since Boondock Saints. Are you working on any other projects right now?
A total fat ass?
Badass and a badass.
You said fat ass.
Any other fat ass projects that you're working on? Or your fat ass dream project?
I'm always working on a fat ass project. I'm just working on the show. I have a film I did with Naomi Watts and Matt Dillon, little love triangle where I did it between 2 and 3, called Sunlight Junior. It was funny because my first line to Naomi Watts was, "I can smell. Where's the kids? All the kids, close your ears." Close up. I can't even say this because there's a bunch of kids in here. I said something about being able to smell a certain part of her through the window. Yeah, that's my first line. So, and every day I was like, "I'm sorry about today. I'm sorry about tomorrow." Yeah, that was a fat ass project.
And Jon, what can you tell us about LA Noire and why are you excited about this? The next project.
It's cool. It's cool. It's you know, it's like the mob, and it's like the mob and in the 40s in LA, and you know, it's cool. Mickey Cohen and Bugsy Siegel and stuff, and yeah, it's cool. I'm excited about it.
Well, we do have to wrap up in a second.
Yeah. Amy, do you want to ask a really quick question?
One more.
Before my question, I have something to give Norman also.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's awesome. It's like cake on a fork with my face on it. It says, this year, can I read it? It says, "Hi Norman, I'm your XX #1 fan. This year on my 11th birthday, you were on my cake and you were delicious." That could turn into a fat ass project. Thank you, babe. I love it.
Now that Shane is dead, how is Andrew gonna react to Shane's death? And also, how is Shane's death gonna affect Daryl as well?
Daryl always agreed with Shane, you know, so there was, you know, it was interesting because even just when I started the show, it was also, is this something I said? Where are you going? What the hell? Jesus. He always agreed with, Daryl and Shane always agreed on the same things. And, you know, the dynamic when I started on the show was very Shane and Rick already, you know, and it was, all the other actors even looked to them for, how's this? There's a lot of new people on the show that were kind of new to acting, you know, and then there weren't, but it was sort of the dynamic. So I just noticed as the shows that started going on, like they included me on the looks, you know, like, okay, we had a huddle, we have to make a plan, and they'd include me. And I think that sort of outside the scene dynamic sort of got in the scene dynamic and became the dynamic. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Shane's missed. You know, Daryl loves Shane, so you know.
Shane loves
butted
Daryl.
heads. But you know, dudes will do that. Dudes will like beat each other up and be like, so what are you doing later?
Real fat ass men.
So we do have to wrap it up now. We got to say goodbye. Any departing
Thank you, guys.
Thanks everybody.
Have a great rest of the expo.
Bloody Barbie dolls.
I really just wanted to do that.
You guys kiss on the cheeks here. Norman will be here soon. He's powdering his nose. He'll be ready.
I want to.
How's your expo going?
My what?
How's your fan expo going?
It's great. I love Viva la Canada, man. Meeting very cool people. Does this work? Does it work when I hold it down here?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's up, everybody? What are y'all doing? Nice.
I want to start off by asking you if you can take us back to the moment when you got the pilot script for The Walking Dead, because I understand that you put some bold words out there to your representatives about how badly you wanted to be a part of this.
Yeah, no, I read it, and it was like the best pilot I'd ever read, and I feel like there's a lot of echo with this thing. I feel like I'm like some political convention. Anyway, yeah, no, it was a great script. I wrote to my agent and said I would do anything to be an extra in this show. I think I knew right from the jump. I'd never read anything that paid so much attention to detailed character and of atmosphere. And Frank Darabont's have to end up from the comic, you know.
So you read at one point for Rick as well.
Yeah, I did, man. Yeah, and but once I read that opening monologue about women and lights and stuff like that for Shane, I was like, oh, that's the part. That is so cool. And then it was so cool because then I got to read with all the different guys auditioning for Rick, and I got to sort of see them all. And when Andy Lincoln came in, it was just like, boom, that's the guy, and that was really cool.
Well,
So I got to ask you, we won't tell anybody, sorry, but how do you think Andrew Lincoln would have done as Shane? Would he have been any good?
He's all British and shit, man. Nah, he would have. I'm gonna tell you, I don't think there's anything that guy can't do. You know, he's not only. I mean, everybody on The Walking Dead. Now, he's not only a wonderful actor, but he's a great man, great father, great husband, and he's, you know, I love him, as I do all the people on that show. As I love that freaking Norman Reedus, where the freak you are, man. Get your ass over here, man.
Well, I think I can speak on behalf of this entire room. You were the perfect person to play Shane.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
You want to try an audience question here?
Yeah, so there's Michelle. There she is, so raise your hand if you're near, and we'll get a microphone to you. And hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Where are you at, man? Oh, there you
No, hey, man. Okay, we all know how the show ended on this season. What's going to happen with you? Does Shane have a brother twin?
And so, I mean, I was so, you know, I was really happy and excited that they let me last as long as they did, because I didn't know whether I was going to make it. Oh, my phone's ringing. I bet this is Norman. Oh, no, it's my lady. Shit.
Go ahead and take it.
All right. I love you, baby. I got to call you back. That's everybody. Hey, baby, fly safe.
How about a big when you saw that Shane died in the comics, were your words literally "holy guacamole"?
You know, there's kids in the audience, so I try. I don't know what, but yeah, you know, I mean, as you do, you take a magazine, or in this instance, a comic book, into the bathroom when you do your thing, and I think it only lasted one trip to the bathroom. And noticed he was gone. I'm like, so much for this source material. But yeah, it was a bummer, and it made me, you know, like I think one of the cool things about Walking Dead, one of the very many cool things about being on that show and being part of that cast and that crew is everyone who's down there realizes how lucky they are to be there. It's an incredibly game group of people. It's not your typical Hollywood. There's no BS there. There's nobody who puts on airs. Everybody a ridiculously talented writer, and I wanted to be in it bad, and I actually had 2 other jobs that I turned down because I hadn't gotten to audition for The Walking Dead yet, and that is advice that I would never give any actor to do at any time, but I did, and I'm really glad I did because it was a fun job.
Are you guys glad you did?
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So as I said, we will be taking audience questions. There should be a mic running around at some point. That's going to come in a second. I want to ask you though, Jon, what was your first impression of the character of Shane? Because you said you wanted to be involved with The Walking Dead. So when did Shane rear his head as the character you were going to play, and what did you think of him?
You know, at first, they were seeing people for both Rick and Shane, so you had to audition for both of them. And strangely enough, he cast Shane first, and I really dug the character. I dug that he started out in a police car sharing a burger with his best friend, and they were sharing a pile of ketchup, and he was there, just totally there for his friend, being the most sort of loyal and open guy possible, just trying to get his friend to communicate. And I thought, how cool to start this character there and have him end up this sort of raging sociopath from the book. And I love that it was all rooted in loyalty and in love. Because it's the groundwork for a really, I sound like such a pretentious douche, but it's like it sets the groundwork for a really, really cool character to start there and end up where I knew he was going to happen.
Wayne or anything?
Yeah, right to the writers. Look, you know, I don't know. I don't think he has a brother Dwayne, man, or Wayne for that matter. You know, look, you know, I went on to do Frank Darabont, the guy who started Walking Dead. I went on to go do his new series, LA Noire, and we shot the pilot of that. And right now I'm in New York. I'm shooting, actually, lucky enough, I'm shooting the new Martin Scorsese movie, like, as we speak. That's why I got this goofy beard. And so I'll shoot this until January, and then we'll go back to LA Noire. So I think you know, I don't know how much carryover those 2 shows are really gonna have, man. But I'd love to go back. I love that show and the people that make it with all my heart, man.
Did you know right from the get-go that Shane's days would be numbered?
Yeah, like they said in the beginning, you know, Shane's not gonna make it for too long, and there's nothing like, you know, I fought like hell to get to audition for this part, and I read the script, I want to be in it so bad, and I met this great cast, and I met Frank Darabont, and I was like, oh, I want this so bad. It was so great, and they're like, oh, by the way, it's based on this comic, check it out. And like, I sit down, I open, I'm like, holy guacamole, that motherfucker is dead, like dead fast.